Welcome to the Bucket List Life Podcast with Trav Bell, the world's #1 bucket list expert. Bucket List Life's mission is to help you get off the treadmill, stop Groundhog Days, hack your habits, and live a regret-free life. Because we know life's way too short not to live your bucket list life. So please welcome your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy.
Absolutely awesome. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We're live on a number of different channels. Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome to another episode of the Bucket List Life podcast with me, your host, Trav Bell, the Bucket List Guy, and I'm here with Elisa Velásquez. How are you, Elisa?
Fine, thank you, Trav. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Yeah, how is Costa Rica right now?
Right now it's very hot and it's kind of the afternoon, so it's a nice time to talk to you.
Now, how's lockdown and all that sort of thing? How's 2000? We haven't talked for a while. How was 2020 down there?
It was not so difficult if I compare to other countries. Yes, we
Yeah.
have, of course, a period of times between March and June that was very difficult for us because we were very locked down. But from June up to today, we have more flexibility. Of course, we are taking care of each other's and using all the distancing measures, but we are able to go out every day, more or less without restrictions, just wearing the masks and washing our hands, and we should be good.
Yeah, perfect. Look, we probably should be doing this in Spanish, and we're doing it in English. We might have to do another one in Spanish, but you might have to host it and interview yourself.
Yes.
But I'm sure we can put some text overlaying what we see for our Spanish viewers as well. You've been in this coaching game for quite some time, and a question that I ask every guest on the Bucket List Live podcast is, when you are flying and you have to fill out, and you're entering a new country or coming back into Costa Rica, and you fill out an incoming passenger card, and you put your occupation on there. What do you put your occupation as?
Usually I say that I am an economist, because sometimes they don't understand what a coach is. If I write down business coach or bucket list coach, maybe I should get retained. So what do you do for a living? So I usually use that I am economist, because that's what I study at the university.
What was that? You're an economist?
An economist, yes.
Are you an economist?
Yes, I am. I like to say that I study economics, but I am not working as an economist right now.
Right.
Yes, that's my profession.
So what was before getting into business coaching and now bucket list coaching, which we'll talk about soon, what were you doing beforehand then?
I used to work for Procter & Gamble in Latin America, and I also work as a general manager for a company that produces fine chocolate in Venezuela. So it was very delicious time, the funniest time in my life, because I changed from selling diapers and laundry detergent to eat fine chocolate. So it was a nice experience for me, and a good first moment as a coach, because that was a family-owned company. So I start like basically as a coach, then I become the general manager.
And what got you into, what was the change? What got you into coaching?
As a professional, because my area is sales and marketing, I usually be with people. So I had teams, I coach careers, corporations. So I grew up with that mode of working or way of living. So I believe I was always a coach. I was a ballet dancer teacher, then I became a flamenco teacher. So I was near teaching most of my life. At the university, I teach microeconomics. So I was being a kind of teacher, so it's very close to be a coach.
Ballet dancer, in the chocolate business and now a coach. That doesn't make it's not. And like, we've hung out down in Costa Rica. Amazing experience. We launched certified bucket list coach down there in Costa Rica. Was that last year or the year before?
2 years. 2 years ago, next year.
And you're an amazing host to me and Tracy when we came down there, and we had the great privilege of doing some media, to seeing the sites, to doing what was the start of a bucket list for kids program as well at the local high school, and I've still got that picture, and that was an amazing experience. There's nothing better than teaching this bucket list stuff to youth, right? And I know that you're really passionate about that, which is what we'll talk about in a second. But first of all, I know you're an amazing example for everyone around you, Elisa, and that's what I really love about you. In terms of your own bucket list, because I ask everyone this as well, is what are the top 3 things on your reverse bucket list that you've done? Our done list.
Okay, let's talk bucket list language. So I have to say that my proud achievement is to help my little daughter to grow up, because she was born at the week of the pregnancy, that is the 26th. So pregnancies have 40 weeks, but she was born when I was pregnant of 26 weeks. So it was very early. She weighed like 2 pounds only, and she spent 101 days at the hospital because she was too little to go out. So after that, it's not only to survive, but the things that you need to do for a baby as small as she was to grow up healthy. So she was able, and now she is 9, and she is a perfect girl, but it was a lot of work behind of that. We have to go to therapy, give her some treatments and medicines, and take her. So I took off like 1 year and a half without working in a corporation or in a company.
Right.
So to dedicate all my time and my efforts to help her to be the girl that she is today.
Yeah.
So that would be my first one. Regarding traveling, I have been in Rio de Janeiro, in the Corcovado. So that was a very nice tick.
Still got to do it.
Yes, you have it in your list. So you have to go. And I will say that also taking lessons of ballet and also flamenco and becoming a teacher is a great tick in my bucket list, because I was so passionate about that I was able to give that passion to others.
I love how you say flamenco. It's so much better than me as an Australian saying flamenco. I love someone on Facebook. We don't know who that is. Trav and Elisa are rock stars. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Person with no photo. Thank you. I did not like that, by the way. Hey,
okay.
Just a quick one before we go into the future bucket list. In Spanish, I mean, if we translate the word bucket list, it kind of makes no sense at all, right? So how do you explain what we do or what a bucket list is in Spanish to people? Not in Spanish now, because I don't understand a word. But how do you explain it to people?
I always said to people that all the dreams that you have in your life and all the passion that you have contained inside doesn't need to have a catastrophe or a difficult disease to be realized or executed. So the bucket list are all these dreams, goals, things that you always want to do, but you are postponing for any reason. Your job, you don't have money, you don't have time. So I always says that that's the list that you need to build and design and obviously execute. So I try to explain it that way, because it doesn't mean anything in Spanish. Bucket list is like a thought that the translation doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and people understand it, straight away.
Sorry?
Do people understand the concept, straight away? Yeah.
Yes, because everybody understands that they are going to be dead one day. That if they don't start working in their purposes, they will not achieve it ever. So you need to take action. So
Yeah.
that wake-up call is like shocking moment for everyone when I explain.
Yeah. And we just got it's Marco, my mate from Mexico.
Hey, Marco,
Hola,
nice
I
to
do know
see
that
you.
bit in Spanish, Marco. So thanks for playing, mate. Hola from Mexico. He is like a full-on bucket lister. You know, Marco, I'll speak to you soon. I know that you follow us, and you know, thanks a lot for playing, mate. Look, what are the three big ones on your bucket list, Elisa? What are the three big ones to do on your list?
Well, I would like to speak Portuguese finally. That is one of my take lessons I want to conquer.
Yeah.
I believe that's very important language for our region right now. So I believe that we can help more people if we can expand to Brazil, because there is a lot of bucket listers that we can help. Um, thank you, Marco. The other one that I had is to leave a legacy. Uh, as I am a religious person, so I am a Catholic, and one of the things that I found here in Costa Rica was a movement that I would like to take to Venezuela. That is my country where I was born.
Yeah, right.
So I would like to help and make this movement to be more alive, because it started 22 years ago, but there is nothing there like formal. So I would like to do that as a part of my legacy. I believe that you have a spiritual anchor that helps a lot of people. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, Buddhist, or whatever it is, but if you believe in something, you are better in your life. So I would like to do that.
Yeah.
And in Conquer a Fear, and I don't know if this is Conquer a Fear or maybe idiotic stuff, but I would like to carry a snake.
Carry a snake.
Yes. It's not so easy in Costa Rica because some animals are protected here, so you cannot approach them.
I wouldn't go just grabbing a snake randomly from the Costa Rican jungle. You want to do that in a zoo or something?
Yes, but I want to survive after I carry the snake. So maybe in the jungle I wouldn't survive. So.
Wow. What do you? I love those, and you know, from snakes to legacy. That's the beauty of this whole bucket list concept. Is it's so far-reaching, and what I want to know, and we've had a few of the other certified bucket list coaches on, you know, from South Africa to the US to Australia, now Costa Rica, and we've still got a lot more to bring onto the podcast. But what I want to know is, everyone's got a personal reason. Why did you decide to become a certified bucket list coach yourself, given your experience?
I believe that there are so many excuses in people not to be happy, that I want everybody to be concentrated on that, because if you are good, you are able to help a lot of people. So we know that our work needs a lot of help in different aspects, but if we don't start with ourselves, there is no way you can help others. So I am a true believer that nowadays we have a lot of digital communications and interconnections, and we are all time connected to our phones or in media, that you need to be present. So I believe that this methodology help us to be focused on what it is important and be present in every aspect of your life. So these 12 areas for me is very clear and an objective where you need to put your attention. So I believe that that's what I want to do, help more people to understand these concepts and live through them so they are happy.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And I'll just bring up, we got Leanne Blaney actually said she's one of our coaches up there in Brisbane, Australia, and I think carrying a snake is third on my list. So yeah, it's right down there for me too, Leanne. Thanks a lot. So why do you love being a certified bucket list coach? What is it that you love? You know, whether it be with people, within yourself, you know, the effect that you've had on others.
For me, the thing that makes me like more like this is the right job for me is when people after or during the seminars or the workshops come and tell me, I wasn't aware of how dissatisfied I was.
Ah.
Or my kids told me that I am too old to start writing my bucket list, and they told me before the workshop to write a short one because I don't have so much time. So
we're going to get new kids there.
yeah, so that is a choking moment for me, because if I wouldn't prepare that workshop and invite them and follow up to the registration and everything, I wouldn't be able to help those people to have those breakthroughs. So that for me, it's very rewarding, and I believe that that's part of what we do.
And we do when you've run a bunch of programs down there already, some big and some small ones, and we're doing this online now. Thanks to COVID and everything, we're doing this online, so there's really no borders to this. And you can do programs internationally as well as domestically there in Costa Rica. But you've been doing a lot of the Spanish speaking programs within companies and also public workshops. What is, and we have a lot of breakthroughs. The thing with this personal development, what a lot of people may or may not know, that most of what we teach is based on positive psychology, and that's to help. That's performance-based psychology, right? We've just put this brand of bucket list over the top of it. So we're all about helping people experience more meaning, more purpose, and more fulfillment and more gratitude in their life. So you would have seen that, I'm sure, in some of the programs that you've already run, right? So what's an example of someone who really got a lot out of one of your workshops? An example or a couple of examples that you can think of.
For example, I have one lady that went to the Bucket List Life Plan, and she said that for 2 years she stopped to finish one of the certifications that you need to become a coach. She teaches feminine coaching.
Okay.
And she needed to express herself doing a sexy dance. And she was so ashamed of her body, or I don't know, whatever she had. She said that she couldn't complete that certification in order to become the level of coaching that she wants to share with her public.
Oh, wow.
So during the program, she told me, I will do the dance, I will record myself, and I will share it with you and my teacher, so I be able to receive the degree.
Oh, wow.
So it was a private breakthrough for her, but it was something that she had put in the parking lot for 2 years. 2 years.
It's just a simple little thing, and
Yes. We have, for example, one of them was so shy to go and play the violoncello. So in one of the sessions of the life plan, she arrived with the cello and she gave us a little concert.
Really? Oh.
She was like really, she felt like, oh, now I shared first the talent because she's talented. Then she started doing those little steps to conquer that fear, playing public.
And so, that's what it's about, right? Yeah, that's what it's about. It's not about the bucket list, tick itself, or the check itself, or the crossing off of that item. It's really about how a person reverse engineers their life in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's the flow-on effect. It's the ripple effect into every other aspect of their lives. And it's the growth of the person, isn't it, that we see. It's the growth of the person towards that, on that journey towards these self-imposed destinations. But as you've seen and what you've just described, it's all really about the person that exists on the other side. And that's the person that we or they or the group of people don't know yet. And that's called our potential. And sometimes it's just that little pressure cooker of a program and you as a coach creating that safe, supportive, no judgment kind of environment, and safe space for people to be themselves, to express, and to feel safe in pursuing new goals, new bucket list items, and them experiencing a bigger version of themselves, so they can have more meaning, more purpose, more fulfillment in their life. And that's what it's all about. The flow-on effect is amazing, isn't it?
Okay, yes, of course it is.
Yeah. So you've done a bunch of different programs, and would it be fair to say that that how would you describe yourself as a coach? You're sort of like a compass, you know, in a way, aren't we? You know, like we often hear that I didn't know I needed a bucket list coach until I got one. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes. Before we started the pandemic in February 2020, I was invited to a leadership forum to talk,
Okay.
and I need to describe myself with one word. And that word that I used was to be a compass. Why? Because you need to help people to look for their north. You also need to have the sense of where you are in your life to start moving before
Love it.
you walk the path to become the person that you want or the goal that you want to achieve. So at that moment, I said that. So
Yeah. And
yes, I
it's really important right now, isn't it? And we're hearing a lot of people say, you know, during COVID and lockdowns in 2020, a lot of people have recalibrated, you know, on that true north, whatever that is for them, and they've redefined their new normal. Their old normal is maybe dead and buried, you
yes,
know, but redefining the new normal in their own definition of work-life blend, not work-life
yes.
balance, but work-life blend, and what that looks like is it's changed for a lot of people, hasn't it?
Yes,
And
and I believe that flexibility also was something that we learned last year. I
yeah,
went to a Tony Robbins workshop these days, the new word, the new you, and he says there is no normal anymore. This is a cycle of continued changing, and we need to be flexible in order to adapt and not
yeah.
to die today because we are a little bit more than 40. uh, but for people, very young people, pandemia was a disaster because they got locked down, they are depressed, alone without your friends or the things that you used to do outside. And I believe it was difficult and challenging for a lot of people. So we
Mm.
are able to help them with this methodology. Look inside, be um, thankful for all the things that we have.
What would you say? What would you say that's unique about our processes, our programs? As far as, you know, I like to ask, you know, kind of everyone who experiences it, what's unique about what we do?
I believe that when you start talking to people to find their purpose, to look inside of them and try to define what makes them happy or fulfilled, it's difficult for people to put in a tangible way.
Yeah,
So
right.
our methodology has this structure that is not rigid, but that guides you towards the important things or areas that you should be thinking about and that you don't spend so much time in your week. For example, one of our workshops is only 1% of the time of the week that you need to invest in you to be happier. So why are
Yeah.
you not going to do it? So for me, methodology is unique because it guides you on where
Yeah.
to start thinking about what makes you happy, then the next steps that you need
Right.
to.
Beautifully explained. Yeah. Beautifully explained. So that's for the person. What about businesses? Because we do a lot of companies. I mean, you're from, you know, a background of you know, Procter and Gamble, a big multinational company. How could our programs be a fit for a company of that size, even a small business, you know, with a team? How would it benefit them?
One of the things that I believe that companies usually fight against is commitment, the level of passion that people put in their work and calibrate it with their personal life. You can say,
Yeah.
well, he's so passionate playing the guitar, for example, but he's not so passionate here helping with the logistics of the company. So why
Right.
is that? So
Yeah.
you need to increase those levels of commitment. And I believe this is a tool to make sure that you have the right motivational plan, for example, the rewards that you want to give to your people to recognize their work or their achievements in the company. So
Yeah.
if you don't know what they love, what they are passionate to do, it's difficult to design something that fits fits everybody. So this is a way to find the motivation of your employees and, of course, improve your business results. So I believe this is the magic.
Yeah, sort of like engagement. If you're engaged in your, like we say, a bucket list is a tangible life plan, where a career plan or a business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. So really, if you're engaged in your life plan in the form of a bucket list, you'll be really engaged in your career plan. And it has a direct waterfall effect, right? It inspires, it motivates team members. So that's kind of like engagement, I guess, isn't it?
Yes. And another thing that I believe that for companies is valuable to have a bucket list plan in the company is because they want to show their employees that they care truly about them.
Yeah.
And given the space and the time and the resources to allow people to work in these areas will show a true feel of I care about you. And I care about you individually, not with a party for everybody that maybe is not your thing.
So yeah, you're right, because there's a lot of companies out there that want to be an employer of choice. They want to attract and retain good staff, and staff turnover and retraining of staff can be a very, very expensive ongoing thing for a business. And so retaining a good team members is what it's all about. And if they care, and they care about the mental health is a huge issue. We in and of itself. But if a company is showing care, employees are going to hang around and they're going to do a great job and they're going to feel the love. I love the programs that we've run. You see, and I'm sure that you've seen the same, Elisa, down there, is you see, baby boomers talking to Gen Xs and Gen Ys and millennials and iGens, and I think it's called iGens now. That's what my kids are. But they're, but you see all of these different levels of the company and different age levels and experience levels and different positions in the company as well, all kind of talking to each other on a values-based level in terms of, for me, bucket list commonalities. And before you know it, it really is breaking down some of these communication barriers and going, and they end up doing things together, which is even better. It's unreal. Have you seen that sort of happen, within the groups that you've been involved in?
Yes, and I like that, because when you said you have baby boomers, you have generation whatever it is, the one that you have now.
Someone said, a big fan of yours has said, Elisa, great person, really smart. There you go, love it.
Thank you.
You've seen. I don't know who that is.
No, why not? Why we are not able to see that?
Don't know.
Then
so you've seen people communicate at different levels.
Looking to the things that we are in common is what we should do as humans. Not start looking where we have difference, because we can find a lot. Trying to focus on the things that we have in common, where we have positive things to share. So I believe this is a way to put a workshop where you can talk about that. So it doesn't matter if you are old, men, women, Latin, European, whatever it is. You can find a common place where you can find positive things about each other, and you don't need to argue. You just need to listen, and maybe something that other was looking for to do is your number one thing. For Leanne, was number 3. Mine was number 1, to carry the snake. So you can be inspired by others in these groups. I believe that also this is a very nice things to achieve in a company. Inspiration from your group, within your people.
We've had sales managers. We've had sales managers within companies do these programs so they can unearth all the things that they can incentivize their employees with. Unearth all of the bucket list items that they can use as incentives to drive sales even. And so it has a big cultural effect, because everyone's communicating on a whole different level. And what are some of the problems what would you say some of the problems would be that these programs kind of solve as far as you're concerned? You know, top 3 kind of, I don't know, issues that people that
I believe that always it has been difficult for companies to build culture, and now that we are with this work from home thing, social distancing, building culture has to be a challenge in all of the companies that we are touching today. So I believe that our workshops help to build a sense of culture, and you can build them around the values of the company and incorporate some of the ones that are more popular in a way in our group of people. So I believe that culture right now with pandemia mode is one of the challenges, and having these programs is a place to create culture and have this standard, because we are not together as we did in the past.
You're right. We've had a few companies recently say to us, look, we've got a remote work team now. We're actually concerned about some of our team's mental health, which is, you know, fair enough, because the statistics are, you know, are scary. Depression, anxiety, the loneliness epidemic, these sorts of things are rife, you know, more now more than ever. But now, like you said, we've got a remote work team. You're trying to run a company and you've got everyone working from home. Trying to maintain a sense of culture is really hard. It really is. Yes. And this has been kind of forced upon us. And trying to keep everyone engaged is super difficult. So we've had a lot of decision makers recently say, look, we just want a positive excuse to bring everyone together and not talk about work. You know, and this has been a great program for those that have chosen to do one. And again, we've had to do it online versus, you know, face to face. Hey, I've got a quick question for you. In wrapping up, I always ask people this, Elisa, and thank you for everyone who's been watching on the various social media channels. This is scary sometimes going live, so you can't stuff anything up. It's thanks a lot for participating. Thanks a lot for all your comments and stuff as well. And Elisa, I ask every guest this on the Bucket List Live podcast. Imagine a stadium full of people, right? And you've got a big raised stage at the front and a big booming microphone. What would you like to say?
Okay.
What would you like to say? And who do you choose to be in the audience?
I would like to say, I love this phrase that I steal from you. Life is too short not to live your bucket list. So I believe that this suits everybody, kids, companies, public in general, women, men. This is the audience. We can have a specific workshop if you want to work with families or couples or kids. We have all the products. And believe me, life is way too short. So you need to leave your bucket list and take action.
Yeah, or as we say, you know, tick it before you kick it. There we go. You'll probably see those out on social media. Tick it before you kick it. Someone's getting out there. It was absolutely amazing coming down to Costa Rica, and we fell in love with the place. You know, you're a true leader down there. You're a true leader online as well. You're a true leader wherever you go. Everyone gravitates towards you, and you know, obviously, if there's any people watching this right now, get in contact with Elisa, because you really have a heart for helping. You know, and that's why I'm super grateful that you've become, you know, one of our certified bucket list coach tribe, Elisa, and you're flying the flag down there in Costa Rica as well. And this is your website that people can get in contact with. Look at that. Boom.
Yes.
So bucketlistcoach.com. Elisa Velásquez with a little dash in there. That's spelled right, yeah? I've got that right?
Yes, it's not, yes, the pronunciation is kind of different. Velasquez.
Yeah.
But
You say
it's
it
okay.
so much better than I do. Hey, look, guys, get in contact with Elisa and connect with. How can people connect with you on social media? What's the best way to do that? Where do you hang out the most?
I am. Yes, you can find me in Facebook or in Instagram as bucketlistcoach.elisa.
Beautiful.
Bucketlistcoach.elisa.
Excellent.
Okay? In both Facebook
Bucket-
and Instagram.
All right, fantastic. Bucketlistcoach.elisa. Fantastic. Elisa, thanks so much for being on the Bucket List Life podcast today.
Thank you for inviting me, Trav. Nice to talk to you again.
Likewise. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.